I can't really tell if I'm in focus or not. If you guys saw this like whole mechanism that I've got going on here, you'd think I would be a pro. I'm not. Oh look, somebody is. Oh, it's the Weather Channel. How exciting. Ooh, major snowstorm. I just want one really good snowstorm. Like the kind of snowstorm where you're like stuck inside your house and you can't leave. I just want that one really good dumping for the year. And then I'll be happy. I'm trying to figure out if I'm digging my hair or not. I'm pretty sure that this is the very first video that I am doing in my classroom for 2019. So welcome to my classroom. This is my room. It hasn't changed one single bit. Still doing what I do every single day. But I wanted to share with you guys and wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how I want to spice up my teaching life. I have 5 different strategies that I've been using in my classroom, and mainly it's to get my kids to be collaborative. We want kids to be working together. We want them to be working with different people because let's be honest, some people get together and they shouldn't be together and you're like, you need to separate. But I want them working with people that they don't necessarily get along with, or they might have very different views or perspectives from other people. Then I want them to get the feelings of what is it like to work with somebody that you do really work well with. I want them to understand it all because let's be honest, in our schools right now, I guarantee you there's going to be one other teacher in your building that you don't necessarily agree with as far as their teaching styles, their perspectives. The important thing here is that we learn to be able to work together collaboratively in an environment where we are nurturing and just basically getting our stuff done, right? So in this video, guys, I am going to share with you 5 different strategies that I use to help get my kids. I feel like this has become a collaborative video. It's not a collaborative video. But it is 5 strategies to help get our kids to be working with other people, mixing it up, but also making it fun, educational. So 5 different strategies are going to come your way so that you can start to get your kids mixed in to some different groups. Here we go. So I feel like I have to forewarn you guys because my day is a hot mess today. We are down a teacher and we have no sub for that teacher. So the kids have been pretty much split out. Our class sizes are way bigger. We're going to make it. It's going to be okay. Children are dropping like flies because they are incredibly sick. It's just kind of one of those type of days. So it is kind of my lunchtime at the moment. I wanted to go ahead and throw at you one of the strategies that we're doing today. This is one that I really like to use when I have whole groups. Anytime that I'm doing anything with a really big group lesson, it makes it very easy. You can do this in small group as well. I haven't personally tried it out so much in small group, but it is a fantastic really easy method to be able to use it. And so we call this one our spirit circles. The reason I call them spirit circles is because I'm using my school colors. So we are orange and black. And all I did to make these is I took some cardstock. You can make a template very easily. You can put it in a different shape. It doesn't have to be a circle. I use it as circles because I think they're just cute and easier. So what I did is on colored cardstock paper, I just cut out circles. And then I ended up laminating them for durability so that I can reuse them over and over and over again. I also have to kind of give a scowl eye to my students to make sure that they are not kind of playing with them or bending them, which they don't. They've done a really good job with these overall. So I made my circles, used 2 different colors. I'm using my school colors, which is obviously why I call it spirit circles. So what you do with these is you lay these out, kind of alternating colors, orange and black. If you're, blue and white, something to that extent, any of the colors how you have it. alternate them out, and then when the students come and take a seat, you can have them sit at the next available circle. Well, this allows for when you're in whole group, you can say oranges, you're going to turn to the blacks, and I want you to turn and talk. Blacks are going to speak first. Oranges speak first. If you are orange, you're going to read this line with me. If you're a black, you're going to read this line with me, so on, so forth. It is so easy to accommodate and to be able to kind of change it up to make it something different for the kids so that they're not kind of getting into this very like boring, this is just the way that we do it every single time. The kids really enjoy it. It makes it fun. It's something different for them, which is what I think a lot of these activities are. There's something different for them to be able to come in and experience something new. And so spirit circles, again, are really easy for you to implement inside of your classroom. I would definitely give them a shot and see how it ends up going. I need to go ahead and get ready for my writing class. We are doing another narrative writing on blackouts. If you have not read that story, y'all, I highly recommend it. The book is really, really good, and the kids are really into it. One of my big tips right now, and I'm going to say this just off to the side, is to have students rewrite a story. So the story that I'm using, Blackout, doesn't have any words in it. It's completely a picture book, but what's cool is having kids go back and write the story as its own paragraph, so without any pictures and using the words so they put them together, and the kids are having a really great time with that. So I'm gonna go get prepared for that, and then a little bit later on I'm gonna show you guys some other activities that we use to partner and group up our babies in collaborative time. I don't know what I was doing. Ignore that. All right, gotta go. Guys, I was able to make it to the end of the day. Aren't you so proud of me? 2 teachers, 75 children. We did it. All right, so now it is the end of the day. I'm going to show you the last 4 of my different ways of organizing my kids for either partners or groups. I don't remember if I touched on this a little bit when I talked about the spirit circles. But for spirit circles, remember too that you can do it with, this would be really good to work with partners, to have opportunities for who's going to talk first. It's really good for, but you could also, if you wanted to split your class into 2 big groups, it's also pretty easy for that as well. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind when we're going through some of these on what it would best be used for. So the second one that I'm going to talk to you about is called Puzzle Me Grouped. And you guessed it, it has to do with the puzzles. Now, for me, I went on ahead and I created some. I made these on my computer. You definitely don't have to make these on your computer. You very easily could kind of draw something out. You can write out problems and then kind of cut them in weird shapes and use it that way. So just kind of keep that in your, like, Bridget, I don't have the ability to make these puzzles on my computer. Don't stress out. You can make all these little funky cuts if need be and not have anything to do with the computer. So here's how I use these. Now, what's nice about the puzzles that I have is I bought some templates. And the templates basically allow me to make as many puzzles as I want. So I can make some that are just for 2, I can make them for 3, for 4, for 5, and so on and so forth. So I have a few different versions that I've used in the past. One of them is a little bit more fun than the other. So the first one that I'm showing you is a little yellow set of 4. And what it does is it allows them to create the, oh, I can do this, y'all. I could do this. I'm not even looking, look at that. I am a pro. It allows you to create an image, a picture, to be able to find your group. So the kids have to walk around. I hand these out beforehand. They have to walk around and they have to find the group in order to finish the image. And then that is their group. Again, you could easily find something, either a picture that you print, cut them all different shapes to fit however many people that you need to have. Find something online. You can print out some clip art, a magazine, a book cover, anything that you think would be really beneficial for the kids to kind of match it up, and cut them in some different shapes. So this was just the shape that I found online because we did like a Star Wars theme for our summer challenge. So we thought that this would be cute and fun. So there's kind of the first idea. The next idea is more academic. I have a version for your ELA side of it, and then I have a version for math. So for math, I've used it with place value for teaching 4th grade or for 5th grade. This version is a 4th grade version, but it also creates and allows them to match up their place values. So they have to find the number, they have the word form, and then they have an expanded form. So they have to match it up, and then that creates their partner set. So if all of your kids are pretty much on the exact same group on the same lesson, this would be really, really nice to use for whole groups to kind of partner them up into 3s or 4s. I don't have that, so typically sometimes we use these as reviews that they have to kind of walk around and match each other up, or we end up using it as a true partner if I'm working maybe with 5th grade, and we do some 4th grade review skills. Fun, easy ways to be able to do it. The next one is a version of meaning. So we're looking at words. So we have the word unbearable, we have intolerable, insufferable, and insupportable. So if you're really wanting your kids to think about the meanings of different words, vocabulary words, looking for synonyms, you can do synonyms, you can do antonyms, and one person can have like big bolded word, the other ones could have the antonyms that go with that word. You would just kind of have to explain that beforehand, but again, it allows them to be able to find their pairs, find their partners while also reviewing skills. So you can either go the fun route with just having the images, or you can go more of a review route or a game sort. And then what's nice, y'all, is if you end up making these as like just to partner them up, you can also put them inside of a Ziploc bag and have it as a review skills. So if you need kids to be able to review skills, you want them to come to your table and you want them to practice, you can whip these bad boys out and then just have them practice it. I've done it many times where they've seen this exact same thing in one of their kind of centers, one of their activities that they've had to complete in small group or off independently. Works like a charm. Woo! So let's go to our third one. Ha ha ha. Did you guys get, oof, did you get dizzy there? I'm really, really sorry if you got dizzy. Ooh. So the next one is called Pick a Card, Any Card. Did I sound fancy? Not really fancy, I guess, Backman. Oh well. So the next one is called Pick a Card, Any Card. Now here's what I love about Pick a Card, Any Card. For Pick a Card, Any Card, how many times am I possibly going to say that? I already did it 3 times. Holy moly, I'm really sorry. I'll try not to say it anymore. But for the next one, we're specifically looking at being able to group kids and also be able to partner them. So you can almost do like a double sort, if that makes any sense. So if I wanted my kids to come in and I wanted them to find different places to sit, this would be a really good activity for it. So if you want to kind of change up their seating, but you don't want to go the whole process of assigning seats, this is a very, very interactive and fun activity that the kids will enjoy. So here's how I set it up. The first thing that you have to have is, one, you need to figure out how many groups you need. So for instance, I have 6 different tables, or areas for them to sit. So within those 6 different areas, I want to have about 3 to 4 kids sit at that area. So I have to figure out categories. I need to pick out what are some categories that I want to be the tables. So for instance, if I'm talking about a math topic, maybe I'm going to have a number. Come on, like this. So I might have a number like this. If I am doing something more ELA related, let's say I have a topic such as figurative language, like this. And I might have multiples of these, okay? So I would, for ELA, for instance, I could have similes, idioms, I could have metaphors, personification. All of these could be specific areas. In math, I could do the same thing. I've done it with geometry where we've used acute angles, obtuse angles, right angles, parallel lines, perpendicular lines, all of those of that sort. And so all of those are my categories. Well, at the table is where I place a category card. So at each of my tables, I would have like a simile, a personification, metaphors. I would have any sort of numbers that I wanted to have out. And then as the kids enter, I would have a small table, or maybe I'd be standing there like this and say, pick a card. And as they walk in, they have to select a card. Well, on the card is going to relate to one of the categories. For instance, on this card, you're going to see that it is an expanded form of a decimal number. So they have to find the table that matches this card. They're basically having to figure out, where do I go in my room? Where is the matching piece to this? What kind of goes along with it? And then that is going to be where they end up sitting. So I have to, ahead of time, prepare all of my cards. I need to have a card for each of my categories, and then however many kids I want sitting at that table, I need to have that many cards prepared. Now, you're probably wondering, Bridget, why in the world did you do it on playing cards? Well, the main reason I do it on playing cards is because I don't want to go through the hassle of having to cut them out absolutely perfect, all of them perfect, so that I can have them in a nice, neat little pile, because if it doesn't make this nice, neat little pile like this, it drives me nuts. So I don't have to cut them out as perfectly. 2, I also don't have to laminate them, which is also a pain in the rear, because that's just adds on a whole nother step to it. And all I do, and this is the most laziest form other than me doing what I did with my geometry ones, by the way, I can't even find those. I'm really sorry, guys. I would have showed them to you. I can't find them. I don't know what I did with them. I don't know. Anyways, but this is the most laziest form, I think, for me, other than handwriting them on top of it, of where I could quickly get it done. So I printed these out. I have like a little table chart. So let me try that again. So I printed these out. I have a little table where I just kind of typed it in, printed it out, cut it out, and then I used tape to tape it on. Y'all, this was super simple. It didn't take me a long time to make it. I think the longest time it took me was maybe 5 minutes out of all of it to get it done. And I just used plain old Scotch tape that I have in my classroom to tape it down. That way, I know that these are durable, for one, so I don't have to worry about laminating them. It gives it a cool effect. I honestly believe if I just hold it like this, I feel fancy. And 2, they're really easy for me to just rubber band them and be able to throw them inside of a folder or one of my buckets that I have for this specific unit. So I can always pull them back out. Again, guys, this is something that's really nice, that if I want to use it as a review skill in my small groups or as a whole group, this is nice to be able to do that. So the kids have to basically pick out their categories. Now, here's a little tip and trick. If you decide that you want to do the same thing, maybe I don't want to make a ton of these. I did double. So I made a version that was pink, and then I made the exact same version that was 2. So I picked out 4 different tables. I only need 4 for this math class. And there are 2 numbers and the same 2 numbers, but printed on a different color. So they also have to match themselves by color. Again, it allows for you to be able to not have to put as much work in, but then you can get the job pretty easily done. Now, if you wanted to take it a step further, where let's say I have them in my group of 4, but within that group of 4, I also then want to partner them to be able to turn and talk. So what I would do is on my cards, I could on the back place a separate sticker. So dot stickers are really easy to use for this. I could make 2 of them that go within that one category. I could put 2 of them with a blue sticker, 2 of them with a red sticker. So then I could tell them that, hey guys, if you are blues, you're gonna pair up with a red at your table. Or maybe I have both of the blues be a pair and they end up turning and talking with one another. But it makes it to where it's a little bit easier for you to manage it. You're also making sure that people are all getting in the time to talk to one another. So I really, really love this. I love the fact that I can use it in my lessons as a practice, but it's also a really great tool and a way for me to get my kids to group differently, and at the same time talk to different people in their groups. So that is this next one, which is pick a card, any card. Never gets old. All right, so the 4th version that I'm gonna show you guys is one of my favorites. It's near and dear to my heart because I used it a ton when I was in kindergarten. I loved these. It was so nice to have them as review skills. Of course, I don't use them all at this point because I teach 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, but I do pull some of them out every once in a while because the kids do enjoy it. They're just fun activities for them to do. Now, when I use them in kindergarten, and I will say that, guys, this is a little like pack that you can purchase at my store. I will leave a link down in the description box if you are interested in getting this for your classroom. But this little piece is called My Other Half, and it is mainly for grouping your kids into pairs. It's not meant for grouping them any larger, although I believe that some of the math versions that I have in there, as far as grouping them by like tally marks and 10 frames and numbers, could definitely be used to group them into 3s. But as far as the ones that I'm gonna show you right now, it's only for grouping them into pairs. So like I said, this is called My Other Half, and they're little pairing cards. And what I would do is I would pre-select the cards that I wanted to use before I would end up grouping my kids. And then I would pass them out. They had to stand up and they had to walk around the room and figure out who their pair was. So there are some really fun ones in here. There's like pairings as far as like, oh, carrots and peas go really well together. And then you have opposites, which are night and day, lots of different versions there. And then you had some where you had to match either beginning sounds, vowel sounds, ending sounds. Like I said, there's also some versions in there for numbers, but they had to match the jack-o'-lantern to the J, and that would be their little partner that they would have for that day. So I could very easily say that if you had the picture in your hand, you're gonna talk first. If you had the letter in your hand, you're gonna talk first. So it still allows for me to differentiate, not all of them, but some of them will allow you to be able to differentiate between who gets to talk first and who gets to talk second. On the other ones, you could be a little bit more creative than I was. You could put, again, some stickers on the back to differentiate between who's gonna talk first, who's gonna talk second. So I could very easily put a certain color star versus another color star and say, all right, if you had a gold star on your card, you're gonna be my talker first. If you had a green star on your card, you can talk first. So it allows for you, again, it's management. It's part of being able to have an interactive class. It allows for your classroom to be a little bit more smooth. In my opinion, I think my day just goes so much better when I have some of these like little tricks up my sleeve and I'm able to kind of pull them out because the kids are so much more engaged than me just saying, all right, guys, find a partner. It's like mass chaos. You have kids who are just like standing there like, I don't know who wants to be my partner. And then you have other kids who are like, well, I want to be your partner. I want to be your... It's mass chaos. And to completely just get rid of that and not have to worry about it, I love pulling these cards out. So again, guys, this is called My Other Half, and I have them as just like pairing cards. I will leave that link down below. Check it out if you end up wanting to use them in your own classroom. Now it's time for the last one. Okay, guys, the last one is probably the simplest, I think, out of all of them. It's one that I've been using for years and years and years, and it is just get sticky with it. Basically, what you use are sticky notes, 2 colored sticky notes. You could do multiple sticky notes if you choose to do it that way. I like using this for small groups. It's really easy for me sometimes when I kind of tell my kids where to sit. So what I'll end up doing is I'll pull out 2 different types of sticky notes. I'll have some that are blue, and I'll go ahead and put their names on them. And typically what I'll do is I'll have it out on either a folder or maybe it'll be in the materials. I use my 43 folder system, so if you haven't seen that, definitely check that video out. I will leave a link to it. But you could very easily place these inside of that folder, pull them out, place them on your tables where you want them to sit. This is great for management as far as getting some kids away from others, making sure that certain kids are sitting places, but you could also take anecdotal notes on your sticky notes. I have definitely used some bigger notepads before where I will keep them and I will just kind of add as like a tracker of, are they getting some of the problems correct that I'm giving them? Or if I need to take notes of anything, I can place that in there and then stick it in their anecdotal file a little bit later on. So I have those pre-made, and then I had some that are green as well. Again, I would just have them alternate. So have blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green. And then I would very simply say, you know, hey, my blues, I want you to turn and tell the green partner next to you, and have them kind of give them a sentence starter for them to be able to turn and talk. Again, this is one of those where if I just want to make sure that they have a partner, I want to figure out and separate a few kids so that they can stay focused in my area. Also for me to just take those notes. This is a fantastic way to be able to do that. And it is so easy to be able to implement them. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy that you really have to prepare beforehand. Mine is just putting their names on them. And I think that this is a great way that if you don't have a ton of time to have kids stand up and pair themselves and then take a seat, if you don't have that time to be able to do that, this is something that kind of takes all that time out, but it still gives you what you need. It allows you to partner people up and then also kind of have that management of who's going to have the discussions first before others. So yeah, this is pretty simple. I feel like we all got sticky notes. You know, we all have expo markers and Sharpies. Anybody can do this. This is great. So that's it, guys. I mean, those are my 5 different types of ways for me to either partner my kids up or to get them into groups, to have some of that management that makes it just so much more easy to get my day kind of in a nice little flow. The kids are more engaged. They're more excited about it. I think it takes away that whole whininess and that insecurities of trying to match themselves up by themselves. You know, we all have this. We have it to where in our classes, sometimes we have kids who are very timid. They don't want to partner up with people, and they're kind of off into the side. So you're still responsible for partnering them up. This takes away all those feelings. If you do it right and you really kind of have conversations about partners and how do we react and how would it feel if other people reacted in a certain way, if you kind of set that up for them, then they're going to be successful when they end up finding somebody. I think a lot of the times they're just happy that they found the person that they were supposed to be matched with, that they don't really care about who it is. So it relieves a lot of those little tensions that can kind of happen within a classroom. It also allows kids to be collaborative with other people, and not just the people that they want to be around all the time. It's always so interesting, and we always have these conversations about, you know, listening to other people's perspectives, because no matter where we are as far as curriculum-wise or unit-wise, we all see things a little bit differently. We all have our own knowledge, our own background knowledge, our own perspective, and it's really interesting to kind of hear each other's perspectives. And the kids are starting to learn to value each other more. But have those conversations before you start to do this, because you will set them up for so much more success. Have conversations as well about how do we respond to one another. We don't just say, oh my gosh, that's a dumb idea, or I hate that. We very much teach them to use prompts such as, so-and-so, I understand where you're coming from, but I think this, or I think that was a good point, but here's what I think. And getting them to understand on how to make good discussions happen, how to make discussions where both people are respected and valued is incredibly important. So I hope that you guys enjoyed these 5 different ways. Let me know which way you are going to end up trying it in your classroom. Or if you have another way that you like to sort your kids that I haven't done it. I've definitely tried the popsicles. I've done those in the past. Those are just not ones that I typically love to do all the time, but I do have them. I just don't use it as much. These are probably my top 5. But other than like the popsicles, what are some other ideas that you guys have about grouping your kids with partners or into smaller groups? Leave them down below in the comments, guys. Also, serious face. Also, guys, please give this video a thumbs up. Like it. It helps this channel out so much. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Make sure to hit that little bell so you can be notified whenever these videos come out. And I will see you all next week. Bye.